Hello and welcome to my base model Razer Blade 2020 review. I know I'm a bit late to reviewing this as 11th gen Intel models will be coming out. I still wanted to share my thoughts with you guys in case you find a good deal. Just generally maybe you're interested on the Razer laptop. I'm going to give you a rundown on the specs, my overall thoughts, what I like and don't like about it, and if it makes for an everyday carry laptop you can take to school or work. Let's jump into it. First things first, my use case for buying this was to do basically light Adobe Premiere video editing and some Photoshop work on the go. Plus obviously general web browsing, web documents, etc. I have two gaming towers for games, guys, so gaming really wasn't my first priority. However, that did not stop me from testing out a few of the games and still playing them on my free time when I'm out of the studio. Let's get into the specs of the specific model. This one is the 2020 Razer Blade 15-inch base model featuring the Intel Core 10750H, which is a 6-core, 12-thread processor. Base clocks in at 2.6 gigs. Turbos all the way to 5 gigahertz, which I believe though is only on one core. However, that's still insane. I'm pretty sure the rest go up to like 4.8 or whatever. It's paired with 16 gigs, dual channel, 2933 megahertz RAM. It's pretty damn fast. I believe it can be upgraded to 32 or 64, so that's pretty dope. Along with the RAM, it has a 512 gig NVMe M.2 storage drive, which isn't a ton of space off the bat, but it can be upgraded later if you please, which I'm probably going to do. And the most important item on the list, obviously, is the GPU, which we got the RTX 2060 Max-Q from Nvidia, 6 gigs VRAM, GDDR6. However, if you're looking at buying this, you probably noticed it does not say Max-Q anywhere. Yes, that's true. I looked everywhere, but I think it was a Reddit forum or something that was like, no, it's Max-Q. So when I went and bought it, what do you know? I end up taking out of the box and it is a Max-Q. So is what it is. It's even on their website. So it's not a full-fledged 2060 GPU that you'd get in like a desktop or something, but I will explain later why I think that works out for the better. The screen is a 15.6-inch matte IPS display. It looks gorgeous, 144 Hz with factory calibration to 100% sRGB, which is great for video work, colors, photos, general media consumption. That's basically why I was so attracted to it in the first place. I think it's about 300 nits, maybe 280. It's bright enough. It's not MacBook bright, but it's bright enough. The keyboard is a chiclet style, but in my book, it's an A+. It's comparable to any current MacBook, that's for sure. And it has a huge trackpad, just like some of the new MacBooks. So it's pretty dope. It has Windows Precision drivers, which make it a joy to use. If you watch any of Dave 2D's videos, you know he loves his Windows Precision drivers, and now I see why. And with it being a Razer product, of course, it has to have RGB. So it got RGB lighting all the way. It's actually really nice, individual zones, easy to control, easy to set up. It's actually pretty sweet. I like it. And while I'm not a huge fan of Razer Synapse software, especially for computers that like just use one or two Razer products, it's actually way better, way more integrated on an entire Razer laptop. Like the people that make the software obviously integrated the hardware and it works flawlessly. There's no lag, like the system is extremely snappy. So that's the first time I was like, wow, Razer Synapse, I like it. Now, you may have noticed it looks a bit John Cena-like. That's because D-Brand has some incredible skins that honestly you can pick up for, I believe, all the Razer Blade models, from like the small stealth one all the way up to like their big boys. I just happened to get the all camo because it looks freaking sick. As you see, it's on the top, bottom, insides. They had a cutout for the trackpad, but I didn't trust it if the trackpad would still work as like well, so I just left it off. But let's briefly mention the other models and compare the prices real quick. My model is the 144 Hz screen. Remember, it has the RTX 2060 Max-Q that I believe you should be able to get around for 1700 USD. Looking at Best Buy, Amazon, I got mine from Best Buy, and that had a $200 promo at the time, but again, this was 4 or 5 months ago. So again, they had the 11th gen coming out now, so I think they should be having a ton of deals on almost all the laptops, so keep your eye out there. But stay with me for a sec. The reason I went with this $1,700 2060 model is because the 2060 is actually a beast of a GPU. I have a full-fledged RTX 2060 in my gaming tower, and from what I've seen come out of it, it is a beast. So with that in mind, the model below mine is the 120 hertz, which I don't think is 100% sRGB either. It's 120 hertz 1660 Ti model, and that cost $1,500. So while those specs aren't terrible, just remember that if you need more horsepower in the future or something, you would have it on tap for just, while I say 200 isn't much more, it's still a lot, but you get a lot for that 200. Whereas for 1,500, you're paying essentially more for the Razer build, the aluminum, it looking like a MacBook, etc. The parts aren't as high end as they should be for that price. You could easily go get, I don't know, like an HP Omen or something for that'll have 144 hertz screen, probably a 2070, probably a bigger hard drive, more RAM, whatever, for 15 to 1700. But if you want the Razer slim, 1-inch thick, extremely nice, like it actually has much better, when I say better cooling than a MacBook, don't get me wrong, it's not great. They basically have the same cutouts and stuff on the bottom, as I'll show you, but it's not enough. It's not nearly enough for our current tech. 6-core, 12-thread, and I believe it has heat pipes running all through them. I haven't disassembled this yet. I'll make a video on that when that happens, because I will be upgrading the hard drive. I want to get a little bit bigger than, 512, so. But I do have a 1 terabyte Samsung T5 that I use. So that wasn't a huge concern to me. That's why at the time I was like, oh, 512, that'll be plenty fine. And it has been so far. Battery life. This is a big one. I'm not sure what it's exactly rated for, but from my testing, off the charger, like just daily usage, using 60 hertz, power plan on battery saver, with a click or two down on screen brightness usually, doing just basic web browsing, emails, consuming YouTube content, I've managed to literally pull off 5 hours. And that may not sound like a lot, but in my head, that was way more than I was ever expecting for a gaming laptop, quote unquote. So I think that's great. You know, that's using 60 hertz, having everything turned down obviously, but that's fine. Like I can take that and rely on that at least a bit. I could definitely take that to a college class and get through a day with it probably just fine. But if you have maybe a high school and you have a full 8-hour, 7-hour day, I don't think it's gonna last that long, unfortunately. And I would not suggest it. I would probably go with the Stealth or the 13-inch or one of the smaller ones that have a way smaller GPU and or just integrated, because that'll last just way longer. But now if we flip it to gaming off the charger, 144 hertz on, fans cranked up, brightness max, because I'm all about my frames, COD Warzone, Apex, pretty much all the AAA games absolutely will kill it. And it'll last about maybe 2 hours or so, if you're lucky. So if you play esports games, I was thinking about this, it actually might be the same, because you'll have the GPU and CPU working harder, producing, you know, those higher 200 FPS, etc. So I'm not sure if it'll be better. Maybe a little bit better, but I can't imagine too much better. Overall, my thing on that, if you're gaming, plug it in. The brick isn't too crazy. It's like, it doesn't get too hot either, which is really nice. It's actually like pretty cool to the touch, and it's not too obtrusive. However, I do not necessarily love the plug, because you can't have something in next to it with the plug, because it's like directional and there's like an inch of cable that you cannot do anything with. So you can't plug in the Ethernet if you have it that way. Luckily it's unidirectional. It's kind of like a USB-C, so you just flip it, but still, I mean, like, come on guys. And you also it does have a Thunderbolt 3 port. You can charge it from there, but you need a pretty like 100-watt charger, which I do not have. I just have USB-C phones, so that's not going to be enough. But you can do that if you're in a pinch. And while we're talking about gaming, let's segue into gaming. Frankly put, it's great. The speakers are loud and clear, not a lot of bass, but also not tinny. You know, if you ever just heard like those little tiny Bluetooth speakers that have 0 bass and stuff like that, it's not like that. They're actually really clear. It's nice. If you want, there is EQ, so if you want bass, you can definitely get yourself bass, but I wouldn't risk blowing the speakers. I think they're fine at default. I think I changed it to a flat profile, but other than that, it sounds great. Pleasure to game on. The screen is great to look at when you're gaming. No ghosting that I can see. Response time seems adequate. Colors are super vibrant, accurate as the developer intended. I do daily play on a 240 hertz screen, 1 millisecond TN panel, so I'm very sensitive to ghosting and response time and all that stuff. So when I say that, I mean it. It's actually a really good screen, completely competitive to play on. It's not 240, it's 144. That's still pretty damn good. So yeah. Also, since we're talking about that, here's another great reminder. Just so you know, I stream every night on this YouTube channel, so subscribe to be notified, or follow my Twitter if you want to see all the updates happen there, because that's where they happen first. Back into gaming, the fans, while in default profile, won't spin when you're gaming to the maximum to keep, obviously it's going to do that to keep the noise down, because Razer probably doesn't want, noise over frames. I prefer my frames over noise. So honestly, when I say it isn't that bad, it's subjective, obviously, to what people think is not that bad, but I would say it's not that bad. I've owned a PS4 Pro. At full tilt, that thing sounds like a goddamn jet engine. It is gonna take off from your media console. I haven't heard a PS5, so I can't say anything about that, but a PS4 Slim, those are very quiet, very low power consuming. That, even at full tilt, like with God of War or something, that is more what it sounds like. Yeah, there's a noise, but it's not like a painful whine or hum. It's just a background, it's just a fan. It's just like, whoo. So I think it's pretty reasonable. Obviously you can plug headphones in. It does have a jack on the left side. But yeah, if you want to use it for gaming, it'll be a great gaming machine. There's nothing about it. It's a flippin' RTX 2060. So it's gonna give you frames. It's gonna be great. I'll include a few of the benchmarks towards the end here. I'll just show you some of the scores, and that's pretty much everything, guys. I truly hope you enjoyed the video, at least learned something from it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to reply to the best of my abilities. Future videos coming on upgrading. I already said the hard drive, maybe some RAM too, you never know. Also, another video this week on how to record gameplay using Nvidia ShadowPlay on PCs with Nvidia GPUs. So just like this, you just got a new gaming laptop. I want to learn how to capture gameplay off it. Great. I have a video coming up on that too, guys, so stick around the channel, and I appreciate you taking your time to watch this. I go live every night, hang out, play some games, talk to chat, have a good time. Hit it up if you like, and on your way out, I'd appreciate if you could hit like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe, but take care. Happy New Year's. H1N1 Gaming, outta here.